What's up, everybody, and welcome to another first regular season post game show of the 49365 after show, I should say, on Croc Talk TV. Shout out to Croc. My name is Biamechi. As always, it's positive energy and good vibes. And as always, I'm with JB. What's going on?
What's popping B? What's popping faithful? Week one down, 1-0. It don't feel that way though. It does not
Yeah.
feel that way. JV, prayer emoji.
Yeah, man, for real. But I mean, I definitely want to say though, we definitely because of the injuries got that bad taste on our mouth. But it is the first game of the season, and just shout out to all the faithful, man, like getting up for this game. I know for me last night I couldn't even go to sleep. Super juice, super excited as I am every year. You start off the beginning of the year. There's so much optimism in the air. You just think every team in the league thinks they have a chance.
Wow.
And that's how it goes. And I actually came down here. I'm in the Bay right now, so we actually watched the game together. I'm at your house. We just thought it'd be best to kind of separate rooms and do this stream this way. But I am here, and it's good to like tap in with your friends, your family, whatever your ritual is, man, and get together and start the season off. It's like a holiday, man. So definitely the game left a bad taste in our mouth at the end, obviously with the injuries, which we'll get to. But just happy first game of the season to the faithful. And, I would say it this way, man. The NFL season is grueling, especially with now it being 17 games. It's grueling. It's a journey. It's a war. You know what I mean? Like in each battle you have, you either lose the battle or you win the battle, but it's a war. That's the metaphor that, we make sometimes. And I'm not going to say we lost this battle, but we definitely lost a general. We definitely lost a key soldier, a key part of our team. And so usually during these breakdowns, we'll go through offense, defense, all those sort of things. But we got to just start with the elephant in the room.
Let's be honest. Let's go through the negatives first. Let's get the vent session out. Like let's do negatives, positives, negatives first.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you say negatives, I'm a pretty much, positive energy and good vibes. I don't like look, especially first game of the season. It kind of is like a preseason game, especially when you're blessed to play one of the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, especially at the beginning of the season, new coaches, you never know what's going to happen, so you always got to respect your opponent. But let's be honest here. I mean, the Detroit Lions are not a good team. You saw the drop passes. You saw they were just overmatched in a few areas, and so having said that, we had a little bit of a tune-up game. I really felt like no matter what, we were pretty much going to win this game unless there were significant injuries. And yes, we had significant injuries, but they happened late and, we were able to get through. I really think that, to me, when Jason Verrett got hurt, it really was a turning point in the game in terms of just the vibe. You know what I mean? Because we spend so much time talking about how this team and the media and everybody and the fans talk about 2019. We basically brought the band back. We looked at last year as a mulligan. Everybody's hurt. Just that's not really true to who these players are, what we can do. Let's run it back. We did that. But now we're getting more 2020 vibes. And I tweeted that out because of the injury to Jason Verrett, because we know it's a significant injury. We know he's probably done for the year. His career might be over. Let's be honest. I hate saying that. Prayers up to JV, but his career might be over. I mean, you can't. I don't know how old he is at this point, 29, 30, somewhere in that range. And all the injuries he's had, your hamstring is doing this, your Achilles doing this, your knees doing this, and overcompensating and all that. And like a position like corner, you need all those things, bro. You need the fluidity. And you would speak on this more than I can, but you need everything working and functioning right, So it's devastating. And so for the team, not only just for him, but for what we went through last year with Bosa going out within the first 2 weeks, all the injuries we had in the first 2 weeks, Kittle, everything. We look at that and we look at the situation with him going out, and it's like it just does a vibe, just kills the vibe on the whole team across the board. The fans, the players, obviously. And then Shanahan spoke about it. He started playing. He started, taking some players out, taking some starters out. We had a comfortable lead. And I agree with that decision. Why have Bosa in the game? Why we should be able to beat the Lions again. If it was another team, maybe not, but we should be able to beat the Lions with what we had. Honestly, even though the vibe went down, even though we played some of our second string, third string players, we still had an opportunity to close it out, but a few things just didn't go our way. That onside kick, the bounce, George Kittle got to catch that, but that happens sometimes. It was a crazy bounce. They got it. The game kept going. The 2-point conversion, great catch by the receiver that's has a hard name to pronounce, but he made it happen. You got to live with those things. Those things happen, and we didn't play our best. But I feel like in terms of you wanted to speak on the negative, It starts with the Verrett situation. The vibe went down. At the end of the day, we got through the game. You guys got to be proud that we won the game. We got through it. Like at the end of the day, we did that. But it would be nice. It would be nice to just blow them out. To just
I
blow
mean,
out a team.
we were
We
blowing
were
them
on.
out.
We were
We
we
were
were
blowing
we
them
were
out.
on route.
We were blowing them out. Like you said, the Verrett thing messed it all up. I mean, the
Yeah.
Verrett thing really killed the whole vibe. Really,
Yeah.
and like last year, that's how kind of Boza was. Like when Boza went out, killed the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Now Verrett isn't, he isn't as important as Boza, but I mean, it's just a
Top
vibe.
three on defense. Top 3, 4 on defense. I mean, for sure. He's
I know,
definitely a general.
but Boza was like
Yeah.
top 3, 4 player in the league.
But
Like
I will
what it
say
felt like.
though, I will say the difference with and I don't mean to cut you off, but and I'll let you finish. But the difference with Bosa and Verrett is that the depth, like even with we had Hyder last year and weren't expecting, much from him and whatnot. We didn't have D4, but we still finished as a top 10 defense. And our depth at D line was serviceable compared to the rest of the league. Our depth at corner, that was the one area coming into the season, into the offseason that we as faithful were concerned about. We wanted us to address more in the draft and earlier on in the draft. In free agency, we were hamstrung because we had Jimmy G on our books, so we can't really do too much in free agency. But that's what we wanted to get through. We knew Jason Verrett was healthy last year, but based on his history, it's not like this is like a bad luck situation. Obviously, it's bad luck for him. Clearly it's bad luck, but it's not like something that you couldn't expect. You have to expect in a 17
I
game
mean, I
season.
feel you, but it's hindsight because
It's not
he
hindsight.
did. No, it is
My
because he played the full. He played every play.
exactly.
Not
So
every play
chances
last
are,
year, but he played when he got
chances
his
are,
shot. When he got his shot, he played last year,
so
and I
chances
feel you.
are, so chances are he's gonna get hurt. Like him going 2 seasons in a row like that with all the injuries that he had was not likely. And you could say the same thing for Debo. You could say the same thing for Kittle. You can
I
say
know
these are
exactly,
injury prone players. It's not like
exactly. But I'm saying, bro, exactly. You got all these players that done been injured, so you're supposed to like you can only draft so many people.
well, you make your
You know what
decisions
I'm
with who
saying?
you
Like
draft.
hindsight is you know what they say.
But I hear what you're saying. But to me,
I'm just
it's
saying,
not
I don't feel like you
hindsight
could.
though.
I don't feel like you could just be like yes, it would have been great. Like now, yeah, everybody who wanted a
Not
DB in a draft, everybody who wanted a DB early in a draft. It ain't like we didn't take a DB. We took
right.
two DBs.
That's true.
And look, we took three DBs. We took two corners and a safety.
Right.
So it's like all right. I mean, like you said,
You can't have a
Kittle
perfect
had
roster.
injury.
You can't.
Kittle's
Yeah.
had injury. D
Mm-hmm.
Ford's had injury. Nick
Mm-hmm.
Bosa's had injury. So what are you
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do?
Yeah, you can't have a perfect roster. There's gonna be holes somewhere. Nobody has as a perfect team. We have a solid roster. Like you're. I mean, that's a good point that you're making. I just think like the point I'm making is, hindsight is 2020, all those sort of things. But a lot of us, faithful, including me, wanted us to address that corner position higher. But like you said, we did draft Ambry. It just doesn't look like again. First game of the regular season it's hard to say like, oh, this
No, it
person's a
ain't hard.
bust.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Okay,
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Ambry doesn't look the part.
Embry is
He
not
doesn't look the part.
can they become better serviceable NFL players?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but come on
He's
now. We
yeah.
know when these guys come out, they when you got some top guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know when you got and Ambry's not a top guy.
Right.
Like he's just not a top guy. He's not
Right.
gonna be a top guy. What's his name? Trey Sermon. Like bro, like he had a very lackluster preseason.
I mean, he
He
didn't
doesn't.
even play.
He didn't. And what's his name? Elijah Mitchell outplayed him.
Mm-hmm.
Jermichael Hasty, I felt they wanted to cut Jermichael Hasty, but Trey Sermon. So hey, that's just that. These are some of the negatives. Some of the misses, some of the bad vibes because today's win. It didn't. Let's just be honest, man. I'm just being honest. Like, yeah, it's great. We got the win. There's good. There's positives and there's bads. Somebody in the comments said something hella funny.
Bring
Though.
it up. Bring it up. While you're bringing that up, man. I definitely we'll get to the comments, but I wanted to segue to speaking of room for improvement and how just overall how the game went. I did want to talk next, in terms of Jason Verrett being the biggest thing. The next thing I wanted to really hit on was the quarterback platoon situation and how that went.
Bro, this comment. Kyle is a shithead with no adjustments. Fred played like shit after he paid his J. Cole looking ass. Debo needs to have a sense of urgency in critical moments. Our D is absolute shit. Who is Armstead? I mean, obviously that's I feel like you're being what's the word? You're being dramatic in terms of like, I don't believe in those statements that deeply, but I will say, Fred Warner, like you would just want to see a little bit. You would want to see a better game from him. This is the first game of the season, but you would just want to see a better game from All Pro Fred. Like
I
he
don't know.
wasn't like just out there. It didn't feel like it was his game. Like it didn't feel like, yep, that's number 54. Like he the best player on the field. Like he wasn't flashing like that. I mean, you know,
I didn't
what
see
do you
like
think about that?
mistakes from him though. On the same time, I know they were running on us, so it's like we really have to like rewatch the game, look at the all 22, those sort of things to really assess what was happening there. But it didn't look like to me like Fred was like out of position or missing
Nah,
tackles or like not on coverages. I hear what you're saying in terms of like you want your best players, your highest paid players to make big time plays, but I wasn't really like too upset with Fred. And maybe we give some guys like a mulligan and we don't give other guys because I was tweeting during the game like I just didn't notice Armstead at all. And like, we'll get to this on the positives, but I didn't notice the offensive line at all either, I did notice that they were doing their thing. I didn't notice McGlinchey, making any mistakes. Our offensive line, we'll get to the positives, but they played phenomenal in my opinion. But yeah, speaking of Fred and just how the team didn't really have too much pop. We had a few turnovers and at the end of the
I
game,
mean,
like
honestly,
I
I
said,
think I think when people say for the Fred thing, I think he's talking about just the way that Detroit was able to move the ball on us up the middle at times.
real quick, my bad. I don't know if I just can't see it because I'm on my phone, but did you make sure you put the comments on the screen if I can see them too? Like select them so I can see and all the faithful can see that's tapped in and tuned in. But yeah, man, I don't know if there's another one you wanted to bring up or address.
I mean,
Um,
he said, "Kyle, call your daddy to get your head out your ass."
yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of them type of games. Hey, you know what? We should even change the
Mac
name of it.
Jones out there throwing dimes too, by the way.
Whatever. We should change the name of this to instead of post game reviews. These are therapy sessions. All the faithful, I want y'all to know, like whatever y'all want to say, it's good. Like we may not, we're not going to agree with all of it. Some of it's going to be harsh. Some of it's going to be funny. Some of it's going to be too optimistic. Whatever. Get out your feelings. Like this is what it's all about. Like we're gonna do this all season, man. And shout out to Croc Talk TV. Big things coming on this channel. And make sure you tap in with us as well, 49365. I'll make sure that I leave a comment right after this video so you guys can follow that as well. But yeah, man, I did want to talk about the quarterback platoon situation. It would have been nice to see more of Trey in the second half. And I feel like the ways in which we used him, if it's a 3rd and 20 situation and we put Trey in the game, in the way that we've been conservative and using him and whatnot, like, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, it's going to be like a fake little, draw up the middle and Trey running like, do you really want to use him like a Taysom Hill this year? Is that like the what you want to do, or are we really trying to develop him as a quarterback? I just felt like the way that Shanahan used him. I'm not going to be overly critical. It's game one. You're trying to get a feel
Bro,
for
but
it, a
it's like
flow of
this
it.
is what we got. What do you want him to do?
Well, I just would like for if you're asking me, I
Mhm.
would like to see more of the Raiders game. I would like to see like Trey to come out and actually get an opportunity to play first, second, third down, like actually get to play in a drive and like do some actual passes. Like let him.
Shanahan does not trust him all the way, especially when Jimmy Garoppolo is doing good. Do you think Shanahan wants to let's say Jimmy was playing good today? He was, he had us up, he had us winning. If that's happening, Shanahan's not gonna be like, all right, let me start putting in Trey right now. Because
You think?
then,
Do you think?
cause then what? If Trey messes up, which is a possibility, then it's like Shanahan, this is your fault.
So your example. So on the flip side, if you feel like Jimmy's having a game where he's struggling, but we're still in it, or we're down, do you think that's going to be a more conducive environment for him to put in Trey? Like I don't think that's going to be the
If
situation
Jimmy's
in this.
struggling,
But I'm
I mean,
saying in
I
this
just feel
situation,
like
we were winning. Like obviously
it's
they
the same
came back.
concept. It's the same concept of how Shanahan was talking about today, how he regretted taking players out too early.
But I
It's the
think
same concept.
but
It's
with
like,
that,
it's like we're up, and this has been working with Jimmy running it. We would want Trey to get reps. We want Trey to get reps and all that stuff. But I just feel like if Jimmy is doing his thing, who got us winning, he doesn't trust Trey. Like he does, I mean, I feel like I don't want to say he doesn't trust him, but I mean, obviously he's nervous to put him in there to do certain things. You seen what happened with Jimmy the first play of the game, fumble snap.
Exactly. So what's the? I mean, you think Trey's going to do worse than that? I don't know. I hear what you're
He
saying.
could. You could do that exact same thing, and then it's
Well, if he's
different
gonna,
though.
well, at least he's the future, and at least he has more. I don't know. My whole thing is
It's
like you
about
draft.
winning and losing. You don't want to lose the locker room. It's like, yeah, I just feel like, look, I just feel like worst case scenario would have been like, we doing good. Then like Trey comes in and messes something up, and then the momentum shifts, and then you lose the game, and then that's when the locker room starts. That's when I feel like the locker room could start. It could start being a negative vibe in there.
Well, I do want to give a shout out to Trey, the first quarterback to throw a touchdown, rookie quarterback, I should say, throw a touchdown pass on his first attempt since Matt Ryan, who also was the third pick in the draft. I guess that means that Trey Lance is going to have a Pro Bowl type career. But no, in all seriousness, I was pleased to see him get in there, be composed, hit Sherfield, which is another situation we're going to talk about, but hit Sherfield with touch. It wasn't no bullet pass. It didn't have too much heat. It wasn't one of the wobblers. Okay, it was definitely a layup situation where like it was pretty much an easy play for him, but he made it, and then you gotta give props and respect to that. So it was good to see that as a faithful. Like you had to be juice, and to see
Hell
Jimmy
yeah.
ball out and do what he did. Like Jimmy on the third down to Debo, where like I mean, if you really want to be nitpicky, you could talk about the pass, but he threw it up there for him. He took a hit on that. He took a hit from multiple guys on that, and it wasn't like it was bad protection. It was third down. Guys were coming out of it. I believe they blitzed, and he hung in there, got the ball in the air. Debo did his thing, and you gotta give a shout out to Jimmy for that, man. His stat line at the end of the game was pretty flawless. So it wasn't an absolute perfect game, but Jimmy definitely balled out and did his thing, man. So definitely gotta give a shout out to him.
Yeah, bro. I mean, shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy doing this. Jimmy did his thing. Who else? Elijah Mitchell did his thing. I ain't gonna lie though. Back to hey, back to the negatives. Like Raheem Mostert going out.
Yeah.
That to me is that to me is pretty big because I just feel like with Mostert in the game, you talk about the run game. Like he is that threat that really. I just feel like with him
X
playing running
factor.
back, like he really. Now
Game
that's
changer.
game changer, and that's where it's like I could see in these tough games where we're not just gonna be able to gash teams running the ball with Elijah Mitchell all the time. Like that was
Right.
working today in the beginning of the game, but even at the end of the game, you saw that wasn't working like that. We're not just gonna be able to do that, and so I just feel like Raheem Mostert that one hurt, and it's like it seems like hopefully it'll be like last year in terms of like hopefully it's not like a huge injury, but it does seem like it's at least going to be something that is going to be with him now. Is going to hinder him.
Yeah, and I would say to your point about that, it's like Verrett's injury overshadowed Raheem. So like, where we're not even talking about that, and we don't know the seriousness of that. But to me, and I was telling you this during the game, Raheem to me seems like one of those players that he's not a Nick Chubb. He's not a Dalvin Cook. He's not somebody who's just going to give the ball to the whole game. Like he's the type of player we need to have a platoon of running backs with somebody like Raheem Mostert. To me, he's one of those players that he needs to be damn near 100% healthy for him to be at his, max effectiveness. Of course, you can say that about anybody, but Raheem Mostert with his speed, with his explosiveness, it's like I don't feel like he's a type of player who just plays well with like little nicks and knacks on the body. You know what I mean? So, in the sense that last year he didn't have those he wasn't just out with like an ACL or anything like that, but it's like he wasn't his full self, and that really affected him the whole year. I think it's a similar situation now. It's like it's not a good sign. Again, y'all, this is a 17-game season. This is it is a journey. It's a war. It's a long season. You know what I mean? This is day one, game one, and for him to not be able to finish the game, not a good sign. And another thing on top of that, speaking of the draft and what we could have done and corner those sort of things, having Trey Sermon not even suit up, also not a good sign. That's your third round pick. He adds something different, I think, to the running back room. He's not like just a speed guy. He's somebody who's a little bit bigger, a little bit shiftier, supposed to be good in
But he
pass
don't run
protection.
that way. He wasn't running that way in preseason. He
I mean,
wasn't running like a big,
in
big, big guy.
preseason,
That's why they put Elijah Mitchell in there because Elijah Mitchell runs with physicality, and you saw that. Like
at
he
the
wasn't
end
like
of the
that. Hey, but to your point, somebody in the comments, Dominic Jones says, "Go get C.J. Henderson." Sucks Verrett went down, but this is who he is. What did we really expect out of him? Same with Debo and Mostert. I'm over them dudes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm over him, but I think it's about the hindsight thing. It's not hindsight. We expect those players to not finish the season. We don't know if they're gonna. We don't expect them to just go out first game of the season. I mean, and I just feel so bad for Verrett, man, because he bet on himself. I was really questioning the fact that he took that 1 year contract. I know the COVID year and all that, but man, you got to feel for the guy. Like I said, his career might be over. But
Yeah,
I
I mean, it sucks, but it's just a part of it, and
it's a
it's just
part of the and to the to
bro,
the
I mean, bro, he's 30 years old plus. Like, as me, I'm 34. Like, I'm like, I don't know. We all like, I don't know if you're active and running, and you feel
your body's not the same. It's a young
like
man's
my
game.
body is hurt. Like, if especially if you like, oh, I hurt my ankle, I hurt this, I hurt that. It's like, you think that's just gonna go away?
Yeah, and I think to the comment, these are things that like we expect these players to be hurt at some point. They're injury prone players. So it's not like, yes, it sucks. Injuries are always you're a little bit of luck is involved, and you would think that a little bit more luck would be on our side this year, but I mean, you got to expect that those guys are going to be out at some point in the season, so you have to shape your team with knowing that fact. Now, again, you can't have a perfect team. You can't have depth at every single position. You're going to have to make sacrifices, and that's just a part of the game. That's a part of every roster in the NFL. We all have different types of teams that are strong in certain areas and weak in certain areas. But yeah, I mean, guys like Mostert, guys like Debo, guys like Kittle, guys like Verrett, you're gonna have to expect for them to be hurt. So it's just unfortunate. And I hate talking about injuries again. I said it before, and I'm not trying to have a catchy hot take phrase, but it's like we all talk about these 2019 vibes. This was a 2020 vibe situation for sure. Like I think
I
as a
mean,
faithful as
and,
all of us,
to your point about 2019 vibes and 2020 vibes, guess what? We're always going to talk about 2019 and 2020 because then all the guys, we still
are
have
back.
the core guys. We
Mm-hmm.
still have Kittle. We still have Debo. We still have Boza. These are the guys that we still have Mostert. These are the guys from that season. These are the guys with these injury problems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we are what we are. So
Mm-hmm.
we like, these are the guys that we have. This is the
They
Niners
are
team.
who we thought they were. You know,
Man.
let's transition. I don't know if you had any more negative room for improvement, I like to call it, statements, but I did want to get on some positive if we can. Is that
Positive
cool?
D Ford. Start with D Ford.
I mean, I felt so good seeing D Ford out there making plays. Honestly, bro, like it's like I don't know. I'm just proud of him, bro. Like he stuck it through. I honestly like threw him out the back of my mind last year. Like, man, the guy's gonna retire. He was somebody who we just put in the grave. Like we didn't even think about him, out of sight, out of mind. And for him to be on the field making plays, like I don't know, man, it just really like that really got me. I ain't gonna lie, like that was a moment in the game to seeing him make plays. I was like, man, like he's really out there. And I'm noticing him more than guys like Armstead, which is like just I know Armstead has a different role, so I don't want to like just completely just bash Armstead like I'm making fun of him or something like that. But
Armstead is who Armstead is, bro. Like
yeah,
Armstead is
you gotta
like,
take the contract
like,
away. You
come
gotta
on,
take.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
what is Armstead? Like, Armstead is Armstead.
Yeah,
And
our
like, yeah,
frustration with Armstead is the money. He's one of those players where it's like it's not even it's the money. The fact that he's being paid so much to contribute like that, and for you not to even notice him until he's getting that 15-yard penalty, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating to be honest, like seeing a guy like that. But yeah, definitely a positive. Man, we try to go to the positive. We already going to come back to the
hey, but
negative. It's impossible.
I'm a kill the
You
positivity with
already
the
did.
comment from Dominic Jones, which I definitely want to hit on. He said, "Why the f is Seattle never injured like that? It annoys the f out of me." That I mean, like I looked at Seattle's press conferences today, and it was just good vibes. Pete Carroll, like said
Well,
something about the offensive coordinator and Russell Wilson, like they've never had an
well,
offensive
well. Hold on,
coordinator.
hold on. I want to address that comment again. We just talked about it. Do they have injury-prone players like we do? Like that's a part of the expectation. Like we have injury prone players. It's not like who on Seattle has been hurt like that before. Russell
Jamal
Wilson, Jamal Adams is an injury prone player, and I don't think we'll see if he finishes the season. He is an injury prone player. That is one. Like we'll see if it's week one, guys. It's week one, so we'll see. But I will say that Russell Wilson's never missed a game. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy G's missed 18 games in the past. Like what I'm saying? Like we have injury prone players, so we have to understand that when we talk about injuries. Like it is what it is. So
I mean, but it's crazy because it's like, bro, these are guys that when healthy are hella good. Like Mostert, you're a game changer.
Game changer.
Debo, You see what Debo could do. You see what Debo is.
Yeah, and that fumble at the end, just to like wrap up the negative.
Somebody said, nah, bash Armstead. He's trash. Somebody said Armstead don't play like a captain. Juice deserve a patch way more than his fat ass. I mean,
Yeah,
look, yeah, Armstead. You know,
I
it
know
is
what you.
what it is, man.
I know
Like
what you
you're
really.
not. Yeah, you're not the guy. You're definitely like you're just like
You're a
you're a role
jag.
player.
You're just a guy. You're just a
Yeah,
guy. You're just a guy. That's what you are, bro. You're just a guy.
at at best.
Yeah, at best, man. And it's unfortunate. I did want to talk about let's go to the offense, man. And we don't have to be on here super long. I know you got the kids out there going wild right now on a Sunday fun day. I will say this, man. The offensive line, I want to start there. We can get to Jimmy first, as we usually do. But I have to give the props to the offensive line because it's one of those positions where we shit on them when they're not doing well. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to see when McGlinchey's out here giving stuff up. And he came in this offseason, put on some pounds, and we saw some, bad plays in preseason. I don't know if he was just, consistently bad, but we saw some bad plays against the Chargers, things like that. There was nothing I saw in the whole entire game where I just felt like the offensive line, like missed an assignment, did something bad. I don't even know if he had any false starts or anything of that nature. Like, I just felt like the offensive line, give them their credit. I don't feel like a lot of people on Twitter or anything like that were talking about it during the game or after the game, and I'm surprised Joe Staley didn't say too much about it. He did a great job, by the way, on the post game. But yeah, the offensive line, specifically McGlinchey, if you want to go there. Trent Williams out here trucking people. George Kittle got the pancake. Like, I just felt like, yeah, it's unfortunate that Mostert couldn't play, so we couldn't see the full, brevity of our run game. We didn't see too much with Trey Lance that we were kind of hoping for, and we'll see as the season hopefully goes on in terms of like new plays and doing creative, innovative things in the running game. We didn't see too many like wide receiver sleeps. We didn't see Ayuk at all, which we'll get to really. But I did feel like overall the offensive line, like
They did
definitely
a
an A
great
grade.
job. You got to
Yeah.
give it to the O line today. They did a great job. Hey, but the thing about the NFL is like, that was a good job. Now, can you do it again next week?
Okay, bro. Damn. Can I
I'm
get
just
like?
saying.
Can
I'm
we
just
get
saying.
something?
I know. I'm killing the parade. I'm not saying. I'm saying they did do good. You're right. You're right about
Celebrate
that.
all
But
wins. I
but
always say
did they
that. Celebrate
arrive?
all wins.
Did Mike McGlinchey arrive?
If you can be consistent, yes, and you pass the
Okay.
first part of the test of
Okay. He
being
did
good the
good
first
today.
time.
He did
This
good
is
today against who's Detroit have rushing?
I don't know, but JB, I will say this though, man. Like again, this is a long season. I'm doing my best to. You have to like it's the cliche and everything, but like it's one game at a time. Like it's all we talking about right now is
I,
this game. You know what I
I
mean?
feel
Like,
it. I feel it.
and
I
all you
feel
can
it.
do is
I feel it.
all
I'm
you
just
can do
saying
is go against who
McGlinchey's
you
track
got.
record isn't the best. So he didn't get put on ice skates today. He wasn't on nobody's highlight reel,
And I
and
feel like
that's cool.
one more thing about the offensive line, I do feel like Alex Mack made a difference. We'll see if he can stay healthy. We'll see, your former teammate at Cal. It just seemed like he really was. We were commenting during the game. He really was like, the cliche, like just playing, fighting through the whistle. Like he's one of those guys that like even after the whistle, like he's gonna just finish the play. You know what I mean? Like, and it was dope to see that. We've had a lot of injury luck, bad luck when it comes to our centers, and just not a lot of productivity out of that. So just big shout out to the O line. But we can transition. I don't want to speak on them too much. I always, say I'm not an O-line expert. I don't like talking about the O-line too much. But, a game like this, I felt like it was warranted. Transitioning to the quarterback play, we already talked about the platoon situation. With Jimmy G, I would say that you could say, yeah, he fumbled on the first play, which was terrible. I mean, it's just, but again, a team like the Detroit Lions, especially when Jimmy G only played a few series in preseason, this was a preseason game. Like I hate to like, respect your opponent, all that, but like, you're not going to get an opportunity to just like have a fumble on the first play of the game and really not have it bite you. If we're playing like the Packers, or if we're playing, I know the Packers look kind of bad right now, but if we're playing like the Seahawks,
They're getting smacked.
but I'm saying though,
smacked right now. Like
but the point is,
but
the point is, if it's not Detroit, that might bite us, but it is Detroit, and so we were able to get some kinks out. But pure Jimmy G fashion, he bounces back, he does his thing, and he was pretty much on point. Play calling was pretty much on point. Really not much to say. He made that third down play, like I mentioned, and there wasn't too many. There was one play where I was like, "Oh shit, is that about to be a pick?" But I mean, I feel like Jimmy G, good pocket presence. He didn't look like he wasn't super flustered. And again, we were playing Detroit, but you gotta give props to Jimmy G. He did his thing.
yeah, I feel
Elijah Mitchell.
Jimmy G. And I
Yeah,
feel like at the end of the day, we both were disappointed with, with those type of design runs that they do with Trey Lance. Like, I just
yeah,
feel like that's
yeah.
not it.
It's
That's
not it.
not it.
It's not it. 3rd and 20 coming in to just do it like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna do. Like, or like just those like it's just tough for me to put him in like in one downs. I just want to see him get a little bit more of a flow, but like you said, maybe he doesn't trust him, but it's just a weird situation, and
Honestly,
we're still figuring it out.
I feel like what they got to do is like, I just feel like, bro, when Trey get in the game, you got to throw the ball with Trey.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to throw the ball. You have
Yeah,
to give him the respect that he could throw the ball, whatever. It don't have to be nothing crazy like rollouts or even just a few receiver like a route with a play with like one or two
reads.
receivers running.
Yeah, and you could even
Just throw the ball with him. Don't get up there and trying to do some the draw the quarterback draw or the hey guys, hey, we're gonna do this read option. We're gonna really
they're not
trick
going
them
to
on this.
expect it. They're not going to expect
We're
it.
gonna play. It's because we have an advantage though. It's 11-on-11. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, to your point, even if you do a simple, very conservative trade, don't throw a pick. If it's not there, he can still run it. He can still run it.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
you're still gonna have that option and make it more natural. Just get him in the flow of the game. So, I get it. We're a playoff team. We have Super Bowl aspirations, but Trevor Lawrence out here throwing 2 picks, like they're rookies. Like let him. He doesn't have to be perfect. Let him get out there and let's see what he could do. But again, maybe he doesn't trust him. That's fine. We don't have to, spin the wheel on that. George Kittle, somebody who I've been kind of critical of. Just obviously, we talked about the injuries aspect of it, but just is George Kittle? I think we talked about Raheem Mostert. He's like probably number one game changer, X factor. But George Kittle is another one where if he's on his A game and he's doing everything that he needs to be
Wait, what do you
doing.
mean? What do you mean he's an X factor though, bro? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I'm saying like my opinion is that if George Kittle
Is he
really,
an X factor? Is he?
what do you
Is
mean?
Kittle an X factor?
What do you mean?
Is he an X factor? Like when X factor is like how is he an X factor? Like if it's man to man coverage, can he even get open?
Oh my God, bro. That's what you on right now. Look, he's
I
not.
mean, okay, okay. Can he get open consistently on man to man coverage like that?
I don't even know if it's okay. This is the thing though. Shanahan schemes up a lot of plays for George Kittle, obviously, right? Like a lot of his plays that he has in the passing game are based on they're usually like almost wide open sometimes, where it's just like because he's so effective at blocking. I don't. It's like whatever works for our team. Every team is different. George Kittle, I'm not asking him to be something he's not. He doesn't like. I don't know if he
Okay.
has to be the best route runner. He doesn't have to be Darren Waller or Travis Kelce. He adds a different element to the game. My whole thing though is like he just needs to be effective, and it's also on Shanahan. Like Shanahan needs to give him enough opportunities because he is one of our better. He's supposed to be when they do like talk about.
But can he beat that man coverage? Like if that like when you say Shanahan has to get him,
I mean,
yeah, I
look,
feel like there's only so
we
much
always
times where you can make George Kittle run down the run out the
wide
side
open.
wide open. There's only so many plays where you could do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I don't.
okay, a good
Let's
opportunity would be like this. Like okay, one-on-one coverage and that's it. To me, that's like okay, that's your good opportunity.
yeah, let's not disrespect George Kittle though. I'm not saying you disrespecting him though, but I'm just saying like
I'm
the
being honest
yeah
with how I
he
feel
can
like
he,
about his like, bro. This is George Kittle who set the tight end receiving record, and that put him on that pedestal top two. At first, it was top two tight end. First, it was not. Then when he went like our Super Bowl year, it was like, oh, he's the best tight end in the league. Like he's not that. He's not the best tight end in the league. He's not the
yeah.
best two tight. He's not the best. He's not a top three tight end in my opinion.
That's fine. You can have your opinion, that's the point that I'm making. If you let me finish, I'm just saying that George Kittle is like you talk about Raheem Mostert being an X factor, being a game changer. George Kittle is that for us as well, and it's like it shouldn't like he's such a factor in our blocking game. Like I said, he was pancaking people, doing all that, but I think it's also on Shanahan. It's also on Shanahan to draw up plays for him, to scheme him open, to do all those sort of things, to make sure that he's involved in the game. Same thing with Juszczyk. They need to be involved in the game because they are good. They're some of our better players on the team.
Hey, but when you say scheme him open, that's what I'm just saying. Like, there's only so much where you could like people are aware of who George Kittle is. It's not going. Well, they scheme him wide open. It's like okay, well, I'm just saying like one-on-one coverage is a scheme.
Right,
Like that's like
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And I'm the point I'm making is it's both. To me, I'm just saying it's up on Shanahan to like call his number, more, and like yeah, also on Kittle to get open. And there's some plays he lost on one-on-one. There's some plays he won on one-on-one. It's like that. Like I'm just saying that when he's playing at the top of his game, it makes our team way more dynamic, and we need to be getting him the ball. And so that's all. That's my point about Kittle. Obviously, the injuries is a big factor. You were talking about like where he ranks and all those sort of things. Like from the Super Bowl year to last year, like a big part of why he's not deemed as one of the top, two in the game by some like yourself is a big part of that is injuries and just consistency. Like right, like but aside from the injuries, like George Kittle adds another element that those tight ends don't. You know what I'm saying? And like so, I just feel like he is a solid player. He obviously is a good player. Obviously, but it's like George Kittle is the one where if they're showing the Seahawks, they're showing Russell Wilson. If they're showing the Chargers, they're showing Justin Herbert. If they're showing the Niners, you don't know who it's going to be. But George Kittle a lot of time is the one who's the face of the team. It's like if you want to be a face of the team type player, like, and you want to always be like, oh, like let's go Niners and like let's Kittle time and all that. Like, I need to see you ball. You know what I'm saying? I need to see Kittle ball. You know
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's not like I'm not saying that he's like trash or like, but I'm just saying when you say X Factor, like, yeah, that's what he's supposed to be. Like he's supposed to be the Nick Bosa, the rookie. Like he's supposed to be the best guy on our one of the best
dominant
guys
player. Dominant player, yes.
It just doesn't feel like that besides him blocking. Like I'm like, or if he gets a catch and he's like running with the ball, that's great. I love that. I love how he runs with the ball.
So I would say similar to, maybe your criticism of Fred Warner, where George Kittle, again, he had some pancake blocks, he's huge in the run game, all those sort of things, and he had some catches, but I wasn't like, he didn't have like a great game by any means, but he had a solid game. But like, again, I think moving forward, we're going to need to see more from George Kittle because he's a leader on our team. And the same thing with Juszczyk. I would like to see Juszczyk, like Juszczyk should at least get one play a game. I'm sorry, he should at least get one a game. Can we not ever see him?
I know this is a Niners thing right now, but it's 38-3. The Saints are beating 38-3 the Packers, and Jordan Love's in the game.
Well, Colin Cowherd loves to talk about how when Aaron Rodgers gets down, he gets down, and
it's crazy. But yeah, man. I mean, like back to Warner too. I'm not saying that. Like I just feel like Warner. I feel like he is that dude. That's just the defense today was like maybe it was a first game type thing.
Yeah.
Like just the runs up the middle.
Yeah, let's get to the defense in a second. I want to finish up on the offense, and then maybe after we get to the offense, we can get to some of these comments. If you see anything that's good, JB, feel free to pull it up. And y'all make sure y'all tap in with us, man, at 49x365 on Twitter, on YouTube, all that good stuff, man. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, man. Shout out to Croc Talk TV, where we on this channel, baby. But I wanted to transition to the wide receivers lastly, talking about this offense, man. My fantasy football team is named Shoryuken. Shout out to all the Street Fighter fans out there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because I have Ayuk on my team. I think I'm going to need to change my name because he can't even get in the game. And, it's interesting because even on those punt returns, like, I was like, towards the end of the game where we had Sanu, like, there was a lot of times where they were, Detroit was punting, like, backed up in their own territory. And, like, that's the situations you would think Ayuk would be in and Sanu would be in more of the fair catch, opportunities. But we didn't even have Ayuk in those. And to me, as a first-round pick last year, the guys in that draft class, being, Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and all these guys. And I know we, picked Kinlaw first and then Ayuk, but still, like, Ayuk was our guy. And so for us to have him, and I know he's been injuries, and that may have, played a role, and Shanahan alluded to that. And Sherfield, props to him. Like, if he's been earning his thing and he's been doing his thing, and he had a great game, touchdown, like, it looks like it's going to transition everything that we've heard and saw in training camp and seen in preseason. It looks like it's transitioning to the regular season, which is great. Bodes well for us to have a deep, wide receiver group, or a deeper wide receiver group, I should say. But I mean, man, like, there was a lot of plays where, like, Ayuk just wasn't on there. I think he was on 46% of the snaps, something like that. And it's just he didn't get any opportunities. And again, maybe he's just like has to work his way back into favor with Shanahan, but we've seen a little bit of a trend of like being in the doghouse with guys in the past. And I don't think Pettis deserved, opportunities, and not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to draw parallels to like draft picks that we've had in the past and how they've been used. And I'm just hoping that this isn't I'm a little concerned. I will say that with Ayuk. I'm concerned.
Because that means that Shanahan isn't pleased with Ayuk.
Yeah.
Like, period. Like, he's not pleased with Ayuk. He's not pleased with him. So, and so how does Ayuk respond to that? Last year he was wide receiver one for a lot of the times last year for us.
And JB, can we be honest? Like, a lot of us faithful, man, like, sometimes we're jaded. We're subjective. This is a team that we watch, that we follow. We're not like tapped into other teams like we're tapped into this team. So like when it comes to like conversations with your friends or on Twitter, or on NFL, other fan bases and stuff, we're like, Ayuk is a guy who we're like, no, like he's gonna break out. Like he's like CeeDee Lamb, like nah, he's on the level of these guys. Like just all these. You can't come out and have notes. I don't care like if you had injuries,
I
whatever.
mean,
Like
he's not on that level. He's not on CeeDee Lamb level. Period.
but a lot of faithful would say, that's my point though. A lot of us
Yeah, but
faithful.
that's
But
that.
this is what I'm saying. Like it's very concerning, the way that we look at him and the way that the potential we think he has. It's like for you to have no targets and stuff. I know we're a run first, all those sort of things, but like it's just not really acceptable. You know what I mean? Like it's for a first round pick for you to not have any targets, no contribution in the game, none. You're not contributing to the
I mean,
team.
bro, like I was saying, like I feel like this is like it's like that nonchalant type vibe, and I mean that's just like I don't know, little things like I was telling you earlier, like all right, when they showed the little practice clips of them warming up, like Debo's first, then it's like Sherfield or Sanu,
Jennings, yeah.
then it's Juwan Jennings, then it's Jalen Hurd at times, then it's whoever it is, and then it's Ayuk at the back, always at the back, the last one, and it's like all right, but then then you're hurt, then you drop in, then in preseason games you dropping like you dropping Jimmy G's passes for picks. Like, come on, man. Like this, like you see what CeeDee Lamb doing. Like CeeDee Lamb all over,
Contorting his body,
bruh.
doing
Like
whatever it takes.
you just see it, man.
And
Come on, man.
he had some
Like
drops
the
in his game.
comments are saying, hey, love your guys. We're not sugarcoating. Thank you for both speaking the truth. That's what we're gonna speak that truth.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a therapy session, man. It's after a game, like let it out. And y'all got
Emotions
comments,
is
put them
high.
out there. While you can pull up some comments, I'm gonna get to this defense, man. We can start with the defensive line. Joe Staley pointed it out during the post game, which, by the way, great debut by Joe Staley. I'm really happy with the team they got there. They all provided valuable input, from Spikes to Staley to Whitner. That was dope to see. For those who tapped in with that post game show and weren't on Twitter, listening to Croc, because Croc was doing this thing, I was in there too, kind of doing both. But Joe Staley pointed out too, the defensive line just. It wasn't kind of similar to what we said about Fred Warner and George Kittle. It wasn't that they had like a bad game per se, and like I said, D Ford, Flash, Bosa, he was in there. Like you can't have too high expectations because they're getting back. Like they're not like a guy like Bosa and D Ford. They missed all basically last year, and you can't expect them to just be playing every snap and just going 100%. Like they have to be eased into this team. Like that's just the facts of the situation. Period. But we talk so much about this platoon that we have and being deep and all those sort of things, and the number one concern thing is the run. We got to start with the run. Like all them explosive runs up the middle. Like I didn't know if it was like something that we were doing with the wide nine. And again, we can watch the all 22 tomorrow and tonight or whatever and break it down. But I didn't know if it was just that like the way we were actually scheming, like we were giving up some things, or if we just weren't, with Kinlaw not being out there, if that really made a big difference in the run game, where like we just couldn't stop those big plays up the middle. It was pissing me off. You know what I mean? And I just.
I mean, bro, I think honestly, while I'm just thinking about it right now, I think it was like, especially talking about the pass rush, like it was kind of interesting to me, kind of like bro, Street to me played the best out of the interior group.
He had his first career sack.
God.
Shout out to him.
Like where was like DJ Jones? Where was Kevin Givens? Like where are those guys? I just feel like we weren't getting really no push up the middle, and that's the pass rush. It wasn't like it just didn't feel like the up the middle was getting that disruptive. Armstead, what were you doing?
Hey, JB, I will say too, like to your point, it wasn't like we were going against Jalen Hurts, who we're going to go against next week, or we weren't going against Kyler Murray, or like a mobile quarterback where maybe you could say the strategy was to maybe not like just over rush and kind of like go beyond the point where the quarterback's at, to leave rushing lanes open for the quarterback or anything like that. We're going against Jared Goff. You know what I mean? Like, and he did actually have a big run on this, but we're going against Jared Goff, and it's like you would expect to see a little bit more in that regard. But again, I was super happy with D4. You can't be nothing but happy. I mean, anything D4 gives you, like, that's a plus. And Nick Bosa, you can't be mad at because he's coming off an injury. He was solid, did his thing. He's gonna get back in there.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
he showed like he wasn't. He definitely wasn't like you be hearing in the offseason, oh, he's gotten better. Like he definitely wasn't better, but he still was
solid
he
and strong.
still was out there.
got that strength. Like, even though he wasn't really getting around there and super quick and everything like that, he had that strength. Even going against Penny Sewell, who that mother, he is huge, bro. Like, that dude is huge. But anyways, and he actually played a good game. But yeah, man, like overall the D line, it's kind of lackluster. Linebackers, I mean, they did their thing for the most part, but again, the runs, I don't know how to assess blaming that. I gotta watch the shit back, but a little bit concerning. A little bit concerning in terms of like how that run D was. But again, this game kind of took a huge turn. I don't want to be too gassed on how they ended up, because even if we were doing like a bend but don't break strategy, we had turnovers, we had we had an opportunity to blow them out. I mean, we definitely had that opportunity, but maybe D'Amico Ryans has got to get his feet wet. I don't want to make excuses or anything like that, but maybe he's got to get into the flow of things and, play calls and things like that. So it's an incomplete. It remains to be seen like how those guys are doing. And then DBs, man, huge concern with Brett now being out. Huge concern.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the biggest takeaway of the game.
Huge concern.
What are we gonna do at corner? Who is gonna play corner? How are we going to get this situation worked out? Are we gonna bring back Sherman?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you look at, like, we talked about it earlier, and I know, let's get to this comment real quick. We will definitely put us in the description. Appreciate that comment, our Twitter handle. It is at 49x365. All numbers, 49x365. That is our Twitter. My name is Biamechi, this JB. Tap in. But I definitely feel like we talked about it during the beginning of this, but Ambry Thomas, man, it's the first game of the season. You can I don't want to act like the sky is falling and make these big statements, but there is a little bit of an eye test that goes.
Oh, why? Why? Because you're going to judge
them preseason. We're judging them off of what we've seen.
Yeah. I'm saying it's not, but it's not just one game. It's the Raiders preseason game too.
But it's the first regular season game. And I know that.
But I'm saying it's the Raiders preseason game when you did that thing where he ducked down, didn't even want to hit the guy.
Right. And I will say
that where it's like, bro, like this is not. I mean, what are we expecting out of him?
Yeah, Ambry doesn't look he doesn't look physical. He doesn't look like any, and his whenever like a play is thrown to him, I just don't see any sort of like. I like seeing that corner bravado, that energy, that I don't see any of that from him. And maybe it's just because he's, the COVID year he didn't play. But regardless of how you're how ready you are, the reality of the situation is Verrett is out. That's the reality of the situation. We're really going to have to lean on Josh Norman. And he did a great thing by signing with us, because regardless if he's ready or not, he's going to get his opportunity. You know what I mean? And if I think that's what he wanted to do, play for a contender, team that, he would have the opportunity to play. He's going to have the opportunity to play. And I don't want to get into should we sign Sherman? Should we whatever? All I know is that we don't even know if I was telling you during the game, Mosley has been solid for us, right? He's been solid, undrafted player, came in, did his thing. But it's a different level of expectation when you have your number 2 corner going to number 1. And when Verrett goes out, everybody in the depth chart is, so to speak, moving up. And that's something that it just doesn't. I feel way more comfortable with Mosley being number 2 than with Mosley being number 1. Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially when you're going against DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins.
I feel it, but it wasn't we don't play a type of defense where you get somebody following somebody around.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is overall the depth. It's not just when you have injuries, it's not just, oh, we're replacing this guy, we have this guy coming in. No, everybody's moving up. And so it just makes everything that much more glaring. And I'm super concerned moving forward about the secondary. Specifically talking about this game, though, it seemed like I don't really know what we were doing on defense all the way. We made some plays. It didn't really hurt us till the end where, again, a lot of that stuff was vibe, not making excuses. We still got to finish the game, but a lot of that stuff was the vibe was just down and guys were coming. I don't want to make too big of a deal out of that, but I wasn't, superly overly impressed with, the corners. And, Tart made some plays. He made some plays. Jimmy Ward, though.
Tart had a good game. Jimmy Ward,
it's a tough situation.
I'm scared Jimmy Ward is going to regress this year.
I'm not. I feel like Jimmy Ward was step up this year.
I'm scared he's going to regress. It's crazy. I take little bits of things from every little thing I see, and I'm just I don't know. I feel like when they was doing the mic'd up with Jimmy Ward, it was in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of them brick by brick ones, and it was Jimmy Ward mic'd up at practice, and I was damn, they really showing him he got beat on this play, or he got, I don't know, just little things like that, and it's today, one-on-one tackle, You know, and one-on-one tackles are hard, especially in open space. But you know, he let that go for a touchdown, and I feel like that's the things that Jimmy Ward was so good at, like making them type of plays. Like, all right, you the last. All right, he gonna get him down. It's a hard play, but he's gonna get him down.
Oh, one more quick thing about the DBs. And you know, just going back to like, you know, shitting on Ambry a little bit. He also looks terrible in the kick return. And like we don't really have any other options there. Like, and it's like whatever, but it's like I honestly like I'm concerned he's gonna fumble back there. The way he looks, like I'm concerned he's gonna fumble. Like like there's no explosiveness. And I know we saw at Michigan in terms of the punt return. He had some, you know, at least one that he returned back, I remember. But like, yeah, it just was something where I was like, oh, okay, like that's underwhelming. And you would like to see like Elijah Mitchell back there, but again, if Trey Sermon is going to be underwhelming and not even be on the depth chart, like you don't want to risk having Elijah Mitchell get hurt. So it's just like, damn, like all right, that's great. But even with me being that underwhelmed, still probably better special teams than last year. Robbie Gold missing that, whatever.
Whoa. Hey guys, well, I guess I don't know what happened to Biometri. Guess he got cut off. But hey man, I'm about to log off this thing, man. You want to say bye to the faithful? We in the same spot, so it was dope. We was on Croc Talk TV. We'll see you later, man.
Tap in.
Hey, Mike, you want to say bye?
We won. We won the game. You gotta be happy. We won. At the end of the day, a win's a win. Tap in.